Indiana Latino Expo Show. Gloria Jimenez.
Celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month in this virtual series that we are creating this year for the Indiana Latino Expo. Today we have Elias Serrano. He's an entrepreneur, a business owner, and so many titles, so many jobs, positions. How are you, Elias? Welcome.
I'm good. Thank you, Gloria, and thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I'm glad that you're here so you can share a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
Also, you have so many hats right now, but it started with Elias when it was 3, 4, 5 years old.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself. Where are you from? How long you been here in Indy?
So I have been here now 21 years, August 23rd. And I love how you said when I was, my little self was, I like to think was an entrepreneur already at a very young age. And I'll share that story, but I'm originally from Philadelphia. I'm the youngest of 8 children. I come from a really big family outside of the 8 children. My cousins, my aunts, my uncles, we are very tight-knit. So I feel very blessed as an adult now today, realizing how fortunate I am.
How was your childhood, Elias?
My childhood was great. Not long ago, someone was having a conversation with me and they were sharing about their experiences as a kid, and they were sharing about the lifestyle that they were living. They were a more wealthier family and all the advantages and benefits they had. And I was thinking, wow, I didn't get to do all those great things in my life as far as traveling the world and maybe, my parents having luxury cars. And I didn't recognize that I was poor, being the youngest of 8 children, because my parents worked really hard in ingraining culture in us. They worked really hard to make sure that we felt loved, appreciated, and heard. So as a young kid, I felt like I was very fortunate as the last one to be able to embrace everything my parents had to offer as far as being Latino, being culturally educated, and being inspired by whatever they were doing.
Mm-hmm. And your family is originally from Puerto Rico?
Yeah, originally from Puerto Rico. My dad is a diehard entrepreneur, and he will continue that way. And
when you were saying that when you were little, you had that entrepreneurship mind, entrepreneur mind. When you were growing up and when you started looking for mentors, did you find anything related to business, or how you became who you are now? That you can see, oh, little Elias, wow, look at what all you did.
Yeah, so I would pay tribute to my father for that. My father was an entrepreneur. Again, we have a big family, so he was responsible to be the breadwinner. My mother was responsible for being the person who ran our home. So she was our CEO, we'll say. So maybe that's why I'm the CEO. My mom was our CEO. And as a young kid, I started cleaning my mother's friend's home. So I knew that somewhere I was inspired to do something more than whatever it was that I was thinking. I wanted to be a lawyer when I was a kid. I remember for so many years I wanted to be a lawyer. Don't know why, but I was quickly deterred from that because I didn't have a good way to retain legal information, and I didn't want to read a lot of books. But as a little kid, I started working on the weekends, cleaning my mother's friends' homes. I would also, on the weekends, clean office buildings with my neighbors. So I already had inside of me the desire to just want to work. Just watching my dad, he was a very hardworking man. So I kind of feel like I owe tribute to him. He taught me that.
Excellent. And what was your first experience into the business world, or saying, okay, this is when I'm going to take the risk, I'm ready to be a business owner, start my company, or when was that transition?
So I think I like to call it an aha moment, and I think you shared that in one of your notes there. my aha moment literally was at a very young age. So, but I'm going to fast forward to me moving to Indiana in 2001. My business partner, Leticia Snoddy, gave me an opportunity to join her in this venture that she is on right now today. We're now celebrating our 21st year. And that aha moment happened about that time when I realized, like, wow, I just left my professional career. I came out here to start over. Where I was working before, I had major opportunities, but I didn't feel the entrepreneurship. It was very transactional relationship with my employer. And it wasn't until I moved here that I really had that aha moment and I realized, like, wow, this could be really something special, very unique. And most importantly, you're going to be able to help people. And that's what it was about for me.
And it was in the staffing agency industry, correct?
Yes. So we are in the light industrial staffing, and we're also in the professional staffing. So this for me was always like a ministry, because I come from I was born and raised in religion. So I am Christian in heart, and being in the ministry, you are there for your community and you're helping everybody. So I felt the staffing industry was doing just that. I had an opportunity for myself to be a big part of making an impact on people's lives. So I've always seen the staffing industry as a ministry.
So tell us about MS Staffing. 21 years working in that industry. You have also Pro Talent Group, and now you started the podcast Entrepreneur Journey.
Yes.
So 3 different companies. How you do that?
So there's we actually have 4, but under our umbrella there's 5 businesses. But the MSIL staffing, the light industrial staffing, is what we specialize. So we focus on providing companies that does e-commerce we handle their labor management. So that side of our business just strictly focuses on light industrial placements. Our professional staffing, which is called Pro Talent Group, we focus on getting, aligning professionals with our clients and just aligning those relationships and those special skills. With the Entrepreneur's Journey, it is a podcast that I launched June of this year, and it's spotlighting the stories of minorities and LGBTQ business owners.
Excellent. So 2 months, 3 months, then it's been
a lot of work.
An air. How can we listen to the podcast?
Yeah, so you can find the Entrepreneur's Journey on any of the channels that you listen to your podcasts. I also have a website. It's called theentrepreneur'sjourney.net, and we broadcast our podcast live as well.
Now that we are celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month and diversity, inclusion, equity, it's so in right now, how do you bring that to your company? How do you embrace your Latinidad? How you make it work in your personal life? Because a lot of our personal life, we take it to work.
Yes, that's very true.
So how do you do that? How do you handle that part of who you are?
I will say you have to just for me, it's being authentic. It's being Elias. It's being the guy who he identifies and knows that he is a Puerto Rican Latino male. Someone who's very prideful, because my parents, my grandparents, they have instilled that. They taught me culture. I feel very privileged that I was a part of it. So as far as how do we embrace that in our company, I think it's just being authentically ourselves. I think it's just really helping everybody else around you that is not Latino or Hispanic to really understand the culture differences. And I think just being transparently myself, being a Hispanic male who's successful, and embracing every culture around me and just saying, hey, this is who I am. I just hope that it gives them a glimpse of our culture. Outside of our food, which is amazing, right? And the great restaurants that Indianapolis has, I believe that there are so many ways that you can literally create and embrace your heritage in your company. And it's simply by just being authentically yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
Opening a door, right?
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that I saw you through your career, through our friendship is that you give opportunities to a lot of people.
Yes.
And it's not only you that you take, credit for the stuff. Like, I really like the relationship that you have with Letty and the people that work for you. When you go through challenges, because, I know being a business owner is not like, I own all this.
Bubbles and
it's like a roller coaster. You have COVID, how it affected. When you go through challenges, how do you approach those challenges? Do you have someone that you talk to, or it's just you just stay with the whole
That's a great
challenge for yourself, or do you have a support system? How do you handle those challenges?
So I would say in the beginning of my career, I didn't have the mentors, and how I would deal with challenges in the past were different than how I now deal with a challenge today. In the past, and this is something I still do today. So when I feel like I'm being challenged with something that I don't really understand, I don't have an answer for, I like to really focus on meditation. For me, it helps. I like to lean in on prayer because it really helps me to try to tackle those decisions in my head. Mm-hmm. I lean into reading. I lean into books that can really feed me and give me, a different direction. And then I heavily rely on podcasting because there are so many experts out there today that can offer valuable information. So outside of those things, I also try to now align myself with people that we have some great similarities or great synergies. But if you align yourself too much with people like yourself, you're just going to get the same outcome. So what I try to do is just surround myself with people that can give me an honest opinion. And that's how I kind of work through the challenges. And whiteboard. I'm big on whiteboarding. I love to creatively write on a board and say, yes, no, yes, and put my ideas there, and then just see it visually to see if it really would work.
Excellent. That's something that you invited me to do, and since today we can, yes, in the future we will do it. We will for sure make it. What is a quote or statement or something that it's in your mind that someone told you and helped you to achieve something, or you're like, oh, you know what, this is gonna be for example, for me, it's one day at a time. In my life, it's one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time sometimes. For you, what it is?
So for me, ironic enough, I've never ever done speaking events. And I was given an opportunity to do a speaking event. And the person who was coaching me for this event, this happened in 2019, as we were rehearsing, her name is Brooke Salazar. She's an attorney, and Brooke was in front of me, and she said, Eli, you're doing really good, but you just need to own your stage. And those 3 words lasted it just kept ringing in my head. I kept repeating those words. You just, own your stage. And the more I kept thinking about it, I started to really reflect and say, wow, the message is very simple. You just need to be authentically yourself. You need to realize and understand that the stage that you are on is an opportunity for you to either give a great message to impact somebody's life positively and make a difference, or you can own the stage and you can be very negative and you can be very sour and you can be very bitter. And what I did with those 3 words, I chose to elevate myself, and I started to ask myself, what is it you want to do? How do you want to give back? That's where the podcast comes from, right? I felt as nervous as I was on that stage, I was empowered to just own my own self, to own the stage that I was on. I wanted to tell the story, and I fumbled. Trust me, I fumbled a lot, but I walked off that stage and I was like, wow. You owned your stage. You elevated yourself. You feel proud of what you've done. And
you feel empowered.
Yeah, you do feel empowered. It's an empowering experience. And sometimes we just don't know that. It just takes those little bit of uncomfortable steps to get us to that space where we can elevate, we can excel, and we can make a difference.
Excellent. That's a great message. Own
Brooke
your
Salazar.
stage. Well, thank you, Brooke. Well, thank you so much, Elias. It was great getting to know you more. You're such an inspiration for a lot of Latinos, Americans, everyone in the community. You have a great story.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing about yourself, about your podcast, your life, all the things that you have in your mind. Also, we look forward to see what's next for Elias.
Absolutely.
I know there's a lot of surprises that you're going to bring us.
There's always a surprise, right?
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Elias. It was a pleasure having you here, celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month with Indiana Latino Expo.
Indiana Latino Expo Show.